6-7 Partial Quotients Division, Part 2. The main focus of this lesson is for you to solve a division number story, to discuss the methods for solving that division problem, to use extended partial quotients algorithms, and to be able to use partial quotients division to solve problems with 3- and 4-digit dividends. But first, let's start with our mental math and fluency. What is 6 groups of 7s? Well, instead of adding 6 plus 6 plus 6 7 times, we would just multiply. 6 groups of 7 is 6 times 7, which equals 42. So again, 60 groups of 7. Well, 6 times 7 is 42, and we have 1 0 we need to add on the end, so it's 420. And 600 groups of 7, we take 6 times 7 is 42 and add 2 zeros on the end for 4,200. I hope, again, you're paying attention to how important knowing your multiplication facts is. Read this next page to yourself as I read it out loud. It says, Lillian needs to buy 112 bottles of water for the school party. The bottles come in packs of 4. How many packs should she buy? Be prepared to explain how you know that your answer is correct. Well, one strategy that you could use, but it would take you longer, is you could use subtraction. And you could start out with 112, and you could repeatedly subtract 4. And if you notice, I'm doing that here. But is this going to take a long time? Sure, you could use this method. I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying that there might be better methods out there to figure out this answer so it doesn't take you quite as long. So I'm going to stop at this point. Another friendlier way to do it would to look at that number, 112, and say, well, I know 112 equals 100 plus 12. And there are 25 4s. Remember, that's what we were looking at, was groups of 4s in 100. And there would be 3 groups of 4 in 12. So if I would add 25 and 3, I would know there are 28 groups of 12 in 112. I also could do partitioning for a rectangle. I could draw my rectangle, and I could say to myself, okay, I know my answer is 112, and I know that one side is 4. So how could I work that out? Well, I could go like this, and I'm just turning that same rectangle with the same information. And I know that 20 times 4 equals 80. And I know that 8 times 4 equals 32. Sorry, I forgot to put my 20 over here. So I would take 112, excuse me, minus the 80 that I came up with here, which gives me 32. And then again, the 32 I came up with here, I subtract from that 32, and I get 0. So what is 20 plus 8? Again, 28. So no matter how I do it, I am still coming up with the same answer. I also could do 112 divided by 4. Here is my partial quotients. How many sets of 4 can I get into 112? Well, I could start with 10, and 10 times 4 is 40. When I subtract, I notice that I have 72. I can do another group of 10. 10 times 4 is 40. And I have 32 left. Sorry, my writing's not large and neat. So how many groups of 4 can I get into 32? 8. 8 times 4 is 32. It'll be exactly the same. So when I add up my groups, I again come up with an answer of 28. My answer, 28, is the quotient. So in division, when you're looking at the answers, you're looking for quotients. Read this next problem again to yourself as I read it out loud. It says, Corey bought 162 stickers to put in gift bags. She wants each gift bag to contain 6 stickers. How many gift bags can she make? Well, you know what? We could start off first by estimating. 6 is roughly 5 if we're estimating. And 162, I would probably take down to 150 because I know right away by looking at those numbers that 5 will go into 15 easily. And 150 is close to 162. So if I estimate that, how many groups of 5 can go into 150 using partial quotients? Well, I can start out with 10. 10 times 5 is 50. I'm going to subtract. I have 100 left. I see that I can get another group of 10 out of that. So 10 times 5 again is 50. When I subtract, I have 50 left over. So I can get yet another group of 10. 10 times 5 is 50. So how many groups of 5 in my estimation can I get out of 50? 10, 20, 30. So my partial quotients answer is 30. Remember, that's one way to do it. Or you could ask yourself, are there at least 10 groups again in 162? Well, yes. So we could do that to find out our real answer. Again, we subtract 60, and I come up with 102. Can I get another group of 10 of 6? 10 groups of 6, I'm sorry, out of 102? Yes. So I'd write that down. I multiply back, and again, I subtract. And then I ask myself, how many groups of 6 can I get out of 42? Well, 7. 7 times 6 is 42. So what is the real answer? 10, 20, 27. So how many gift bags can she make? She can make 27 gift, and I'm going to abbreviate it, which I would want you to write out the units, bags. And again, this is just showing you that instead of it doing by 10, this student understood that automatically they could do 20. So they just went ahead right away and put 20 down, multiplied it back, and then subtracted it. Remember, using partial quotients division will become easier the more you practice. So as you're turning to Math Journal page 206 right now, I want you to realize that this is going to be an assessment check along with page 207. So I'm going to walk you through the first one, and if you need extra practice, go back and redo the problem I just did and the one I'm going to do for you right now. So it states, estimate. Write a number model to represent the problem. Estimate means I'm rounding. Then use partial quotients to solve. There are 184 plants to put into pots. Okay, for my estimate, I'm probably just going to round that to 200 right now. 184, 200. Each pot can hold 8 plants. Well, I'm going to round 8 to 10. How many pots are needed? Well, 10 will go into 20 twice. And I have 1 0 that never was used, so I add that on to the end. 20 pots. What's the real number model? Well, it would be 184. And notice, this says with the unknown. Most of you are forgetting to write this as an unknown. Unknown means that once I'm dividing, I don't know what my answer is going to be. And since it's asking me how many pots, I'm going to make my unknown the letter P. So let's look at partial quotients again. 184 divided by 8. So how many groups of 8 can I get into, let's say 18? Well, I know I can get 2 into 18. And then I didn't use anything in this place, so I'm going to make it 20. 2 times 18 is 16. And 0 times 8 is 0. So instead of just multiplying by 2 and getting 16, I multiplied 20 to get 160. Now I subtract. 4, and I have 24 left. How many groups of 8 can I get into 24? 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 minus 24 is 0. So what is my partial quotient answer for this problem? It's 23. Pause the recording now. Finish Math Journal page 206 and Math Journal page 207. Make sure you bring that up to me to look at, because that is an assessment check-in and I need to mark that off, proving that you know how to do these. Again, rewind this recording if you need to go over these 2 problems again to watch how it's done, or when you pause the recording, finish these 2 pages and bring them up to me to check. Once I've checked Math Journal page 206, 207 and checked off your assessment check-in, I want you to turn to Math Journal page 208. Math box 1 says solve. Use a fraction tool if needed. Choose all of the correct answers. 4 and 1/6 plus what equals 12 and 4/6? Could you put the number 16 and 5/6 in this place, and would you have a true statement? If you say yes, I want to see your work over here. If you believe you can put 8 and 3/6 in place of this, I want to see your work alongside that in your math journal. If you believe C would work in there, again, I want to see your work to prove it. Or if you believe it's D, I want you to put it in there and show me how you figured it out. Please complete Math Journal page 208. If you don't need me to read what every box says, pause the recording now and go on. Math box 2 says divide using partial quotients. You must use partial quotients. 84 divided by 6. 3 says to solve your multiplication, use any method you want. Circle the fraction that is not equivalent in each set. So that 3/4, 4/5, and 4/6 are what you're looking at. And then write 3 equivalent fractions for 3/8. When you finish this page, please bring it up to the answer key, check it, and then show me so I know that you checked it. And the final thing you're going to do for this unit is Math Masters page 239. Finish that page, bring it up to me, and you are done with lesson 6-7.